Hey guys, this is Aaron coming at you with a video about behavior as a leader. So this is a huge deal and you need to make sure you understand the ramifications it has on your business. So for a lot of us out there, whenever we're trying to understand how our behavior affects people, we don't get that if we go and we talk to an employee, and as we're discussing some things with that employee, our behavior can cross some lines. What would be some lines that we could cross if you think about this? Whenever you're in conversation, you cannot become, what would be the word? It must be employee first, then friend, right? So if it's always employee first and then friend, we have to make sure that we watch the friendship. You can never become just friends with them. You always have to maintain that barrier. Sadly, I would probably hang out with my guys all the time, become great friends if I didn't have to be, the boss. So you have to understand that to a degree, this relationship needs to most of the time be one where you are mentoring, training, or teaching. Mentoring, training, or teaching is most of the one-on-one type stuff. When you give instruction, you're going to be doing a lot of one-to-many. You hear me talk about that all the time. That's what leaders do, one-to-many, one-to-many. It is clear communication for everybody in the room, and everybody now is following the same way so we can be focused on one item. Whenever you're paying attention to behavior, you want to always be careful that whenever you're in the one-to-one, you're watching the friendship. I should actually put friendship line. That'd be better. Watching that friendship line. You're focusing on mentoring and training or teaching. That means you're pouring into that person, right? And then whenever you're teaching and giving instruction and you're trying to get the team to go in a certain direction, it's always a one-to-many. You don't run around doing it one by one by one by one by one. You don't do that. Also, you got to watch your communication levels. Talking about, and you may go, why is this not a part of another video? You're going to see why here in a second. Your communication levels as far as behavior goes. A leader doesn't have to run around and be arrogant and loud and boisterous. You can sit back and be calm. You can sit back and be chilled out. You know you're in charge. You don't got to flex it. It's like pulling up to a stoplight and you're in a Ferrari and the other guy's in a Yugo. And the guy's like, rum, rum, in the Yugo, and you just take off and drive normal. He takes off and he gets ahead of you, and you just don't even worry about it. How stupid would it look if you floored that Ferrari and raced off? It just looks arrogant, right? Focus right now. Understand that when you get into this communication, you don't got to run around flaunting it. Don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about, all you need to do is brag about your team. This is a huge deal, but honor cannot be taken. How do I receive honor? How does Aaron Stokes receive honor? Think about it. I receive honor when other people bestow honor on me. When other people talk about me and say, that is a good man, a man of integrity, a man I want to be like, a man that I believe in. They bestow honor on me. But what if I wanted to say, I'm a great man. I'm a man of integrity. You should like me. You should like me. You should all respect me. What would happen? They wouldn't do it. And what would happen if I decided to think that way with the way I acted? So let's give some examples. I could walk outside and be all haughty. I could be arrogant. I could just brag about myself all the time. I could pick on other people, diss them, disrespect them in a way that embarrasses them in front of others. Think about it. The way you become a person that people want to follow is that you never correct in public. You never disrespect them in public. You don't ever talk about your employees in a negative light like that. You focus on bringing them always in the most positive light. You always focus on bringing them with you, protecting them, being over them, letting them know that you're there for them. I mean, it's all about you taking care of them. In your private time, you can talk to people and let them tell you, man, you're crushing it. You're doing great. But it's lonely being at the top. But you got to understand this. You cannot take honor. Honor is only given. and it's given by others, and you have no control over how much or when, and even how they even do it, whether it's by writing or by voice, whatever, you have no control over it. If you want honor, be a good woman, be a good man. You don't get honor by taking it. You actually have much less, and so many people chase this stuff. The way you communicate with people, if I want to be a man of integrity and walk around and people start noticing it, oh my God, he's sharp, he's on it. They're going to notice it, and it's going to take care of itself. I don't have to. I mean, what's that quote? Walk softly and carry a big stick. What's his name? From England. I can't even think of his name now. Y'all are probably all going, it's so-and-so, Aaron. It's so-and-so. And I can't think of his name. I can even see his face. I'll think of it here in a minute. I'll probably spout it out at the end of the video. But whenever he said that, walk softly and carry a big stick, think about it. You don't have to show that you've got a Ferrari under the hood. You don't have to show everything you can do. Just be you. Be you. Show restraint. Show discipline. If you can become a master of communication, you know the different levels. If you've watched our course, I talk about how to talk to the employees at all the different levels. How you speak to your team. The way you engage them and tell stories and get them to follow you. People love stories. Become a master storyteller. That's one of the biggest ways you can communicate and make a point and get people to follow you. It's a huge deal. But these different communication levels are so important when it comes to one-to-many and even one-to-one. One-to-one is really only for mentoring, training, and teaching when it comes to employees. Even whenever you're correcting an employee, that's a form of mentoring, training, or teaching. And then one-to-many is whenever you're inspiring and trying to get people off the couch, right? So how often do you do the one-to-many? When you walk around, do you hold your head high, your shoulders back? Do you walk around proud of what you've been able to pull off, but yet giving all your people the credit? And when it goes wrong, giving yourself all the blame. You need to understand that as you get to that place and you start seeing that all the honor that's been bestowed on you, all the respect that's been bestowed on you, is from your people. You didn't earn it. You were just you. And as a gift from grace, they went and they gave that to you. You need to understand how this works. Whenever you think about this, if you go and you behave a certain way, and you watch their responses, and you see how they're acting, you'll know if they're receiving what you're trying to say. You'll know if they roll their eyes. You'll know if they look at you like you're crazy. You'll see it. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. But a lot of people struggle to read other people, and they think, oh, they're following me. They all love me. They're following. No, they don't. They hate your guts. They're talking bad about you as soon as you walk off. But you got to get good at understanding people. You got to get good at listening. You got to get good at watching. How much are you talking? I have to watch. I'm a talker. I have to watch and make sure I don't talk over my people and let them have a say. I have to give them a place at the table. When I see somebody who beats themselves up all the time on my team, I tell them to just shut up. Stop it. They're special. They're important. They got to get a chance to talk. And then whenever I have somebody else who's maybe talking like crazy and thinks they're the bee's knees, I might have to tell them, you're not so special. But I have to make sure that I am fair with everybody. They're all my children, right? I say, my kids always are like, Dad, who's your favorite? And I'm like, well, you are. I'm like, oh, really? And I go, but so's your sister, so's your brother, and I joke with them, right? You have to think about the same way with your people. They're all your favorite. All of them. If you become a master of communication and you understand all the different levels of communicating and really connect with your people, and you're able to make decisions and convey those decisions to your people, what will happen is they'll start to bestow so much honor on you. And what happens with the honor? This is what's so cool. That honor actually starts to compound, and it increases to an effect to such a level that when you wave your hand, people just do it, right? You just point and it just happens, right? How come? Because it becomes influence. That influence leads to action from your people. How do you get to that point? You got to have enough honor. One of the reasons I can walk into a room and I can say, I want this over here, I want this, I want you to come over here and do this right here, and I just start bouting off orders, and everybody just starts jumping and running around and doing it, is because I've earned enough respect from them, and I've earned enough honor. And the crazy thing is we say earn. I don't earn it. I just show up and do my deal, and people bestow it upon me. So when this guy sees the honor that's on me from this guy, This guy then believes. And when this girl sees the honor from this guy, now she believes a little bit more. She puts more honor on. Then this guy comes over here and he believes what this girl's saying about me because he sees it. And what happens is it starts a chain reaction. Everybody starts to see the last thing that somebody else said about you, and somebody else said, something about you. And it's like a dog pile effect of all these good things that they're saying about you. And when they say all these great things about you, the influence with each next person gets greater and greater and greater and greater because they're like, well, crap, if so-and-so said it, it must be true. I got to follow this guy off a cliff. And when you hear that stuff, that's when you know that you have influence. When you have influence, influence leads to action. You have to understand that. Your behavior, the way you hold yourself together, the way you just pride yourself on who you are as a person, your behavior, without being too vague, is what dictates how much honor gets given to you, which provides influence, which then leads to action, which ultimately, the action always, every single time, leads to dollars. All right, guys, some good stuff. I'll see you in the next video.